Hello, and thank you for visiting our informational page. Today we will be covering two topics, identity theft and tax preparer fraud. We will discuss what they are, how to recognize them, and what you should do if you are a victim of either one. This is brought to you by South Texas College of Law Houston Low Income Taxpayer Clinic. This is not intended as legal advice, but solely information. We are a low-income taxpayer clinic, a free tax service for qualified individuals. We help with unpaid taxes, answer many questions regarding IRS, and represent clients in the U.S. tax court. You can see our contact information at the bottom of the slide.
Criminals want to steal your identity and your tax return. In the first 11 months of 2015, the IRS reported blocking $8 billion in individual fraudulent tax returns. In 2015, criminals exploited the IRS Get Transcript database and obtained personal information and previous year returns from more than 330,000 taxpayers. 464,000 unauthorized attempts to obtain e-file pins, Social Security numbers, reported by the IRS in early 2016. 101,000 of those attempts were successful. What tricks did they use? Phishing scams to trick taxpayers with fake IRS messages telling them to update records so their tax returns can be processed. Fake and malicious web ads appearing to be for legitimate e-file companies to get consumers to click and unknowingly download malware. File bogus returns using stolen personal information. Criminals have the money sent to their offshore accounts. This is the courtesy of the CNBC.com. First, we will cover identity theft fraud, an increasing issue for taxpayers. This was the #1 taxpayer complaint in 2013. It is still a relevant issue today. Here are the types of identity theft fraud. There are two main types of identity theft fraud: refund-related and employment-related. Refund-related occurs when someone steals your identity falsely files a tax return on your behalf. Employment-related is when someone uses your W-2 to file a tax return. How to prevent identity theft. There are multiple things you can do in order to reduce your identity theft. The chances. The IRS will never initiate a phone call. However, the private debt collectors may contact you only after the IRS has sent notice of your tax debt. Do not give personal information out over the phone. And also, be aware of threatening phone calls and texts from thieves pretending to be legitimate organizations. Also, be cautious of scam emails. Do not click on links or download attachments from unknown or suspicious emails. Keep your computer protected using security software and antivirus protection. Make sure your computer is protected by strong passwords as well. Keep your personal data protected by not carrying your Social Security card regularly. Make sure your tax records are secure as well. Here are some warning signs of identity theft. One warning sign is when more than one tax return was filed using your Social Security number. Another sign is when you owe an additional tax, a refund offset, or have collection actions being taken against you for a year you did not file a tax refund. Another sign is if the IRS records indicate that you receive wages or other income from an employer for whom you have never worked, then that is a clear sign of identity theft.
If you become a victim of identity theft, there are multiple things you must do. For your next tax return, you may be assigned an IP PIN, which stands for Identity Protection Personal Identification Number. If you are assigned an IP PIN, then you must include it on your tax returns to verify that you are the correct person filing the return. You can also file an identity theft affidavit, also known as Form 14039, with your tax return. You should also file a complaint with the Federal Trade Commission at www.identitytheft.gov. Make sure you keep records of all your tax-related papers for evidence. You should also notify any major credit bureaus and your financial institutions that you have been a victim of identity theft.
Tax preparer fraud was the most serious problem reported by the Taxpayer Advocate Service in 2012, and it is still an ongoing issue today. Here are the various types of tax preparer fraud. Return preparer fraud generally involves the preparation and filing of false income tax returns by preparers who claim inflated personal or business expenses, false deductions, unallowable credits, or excessive exemptions on returns prepared for their clients. Preparers may manipulate income figures to fraudulently obtain tax credits, such as the Earned Income Tax Credit. In some situations, the client or taxpayer may not have knowledge of the false expenses, deductions, exemptions, and/or credits shown on his or her tax return. However, when the IRS detects the false return, the taxpayer, not the return preparer, must pay the additional taxes and interest and may be subject to penalties.
When selecting a tax preparer, check your tax preparer certifications. Choose a preparer wisely that is affiliated with a professional organization that provides its members with continuing education, resources, and that holds them out to a strict code of ethics. Be cautious of tax preparers who claim they can obtain larger refunds than other preparers. Avoid preparers who base their fee on a percentage of the amount of income tax refund. Consider whether the preparer will be available after filing the return, to answer questions months or even years after filing. Finally, always make sure that your tax preparer has put their name and signature on the return. It is an automatic red flag if they do not.
Here's what you should do once you are a victim of tax preparer fraud. Report it to the IRS using IRS Form 3949-A. You can also file an amended return and then support your claim with required documents through Form 14157, Return Preparer Complaint, and Form 14157-A, Tax Return Preparer Fraud or Misconduct Affidavit.
Thank you for watching this presentation created by student attorneys at the South Texas College of Law Houston Low Income Taxpayer Clinic. Please contact us if you have any further questions or need help with any IRS or tax-related issues. Thank you for watching.